Hello and welcome. My name is Zara and I'm the Mystic Seeker. Today we're going to be talking about types of haunts and spirits. When it comes to the paranormal, there's so many subcategories, and then when we get into haunts and spirits, there's even more. It's very daunting, but I'm dedicated. I know you want to know. So here we go. Let's take, for instance, spirits, mean spirits and good spirits. What these spirits are capable of really depends on their ability, their power. How much power do they have? And just because they've been dead a long time doesn't mean they have more power than a new spirit. Kind of, if they were powerful in life, I'm guessing that they'll be powerful in death too. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing depends on the spirit, really. If they were a jerk in life, they're going to be a jerk ghost. There's some other categories that I wanted to get into. So let's jump right in, shall we? The first one is probably the most benign one of them all. It's called a residual haunt, which means something traumatic, a death, a horrible death, took place in a space, whether it be in a building or in a field. It could be a battlefield, it could be a house where murders were committed, suicides, those kind of things, where changing of life into death was traumatic for that person. That energy that's connected to the emotions, to the act, to everything that has to do with that act of killing or dying, into the plaster, the brick, the wood, the paint, the wallpaper. It could be the ground, it could be trees, it could be soaked into anything. The act of being killed or murdered is played over and over again. Kind of like a GIF. You know how you get those GIFs on Facebook and you press it and it just keeps looping? You see the same thing over and over again. That's how it is with a residual haunt. They won't communicate with you. They won't even know you're there because it's not people. It's energy. It's place memory. So you're not going to get any communication from them. It's just like watching a movie. Just sit back and enjoy it, or not. Okay, the next one is attachment. I know we've all seen those movies, read the books about somebody going to an antique shop, bringing something home, and then having paranormal activity. So let's go into attachment haunts. Now, attachments can be a person or a thing. Yes, you can go somewhere like a cemetery or somebody's house, and for some reason that spirit is able to attach to you and you bring it home. Not all ghosts are like that, though. Not all ghosts want to come home with you. So don't think that just because it's possible that it's probable, that it's going to happen all the time, because that's just not the case. And this can be a good or a bad thing. It depends on the spirit that's attached. Of course, if it was a good spirit or a mean spirit or a bad spirit. It could be something that was never human, and we have to really be careful with those, right? Yes. If it was something that's never been human, it could be an energy type vampire, which I mean in the best way possible. It drains you of energy, your life force. So you'll get sick. You'll be tired, fatigued for no reason, mood swings, that kind of thing. So you really want to get somebody in there to help you with that. But it can also be a good spirit or an unknowing spirit, which means it could be somebody who's died and doesn't understand what happened to them because they died so suddenly. Or it could be somebody that just wants to be here. You just don't know until you find out by communicating with it. Now, these you can communicate with. Hopefully, if they're a nice spirit, you'll have a good experience with them. If they're bad, mean, or evil, you want to not talk to them as much as possible. It's kind of like in life. If you sense that somebody's mean or evil, you just want to stay away from that person and not engage with that person. Don't give them any more of your energy than you have to. Stages of attachment. These are things that you could be looking for if you think you might have an attachment. Following is the first step. Not yet attached, just following, just be aware that you're being watched, that kind of thing. Kind of like, at the end of the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland where the spirit's in the ride with you and you take it home. That's a lot like what it is, but you just don't know what the intent of the spirit is at that point. You won't know it until later. Surprise! Not yet attached, but an increased sense of being watched and followed. You know, when you feel like somebody's behind you or somebody's watching you, like right here. I mean, you can feel that. You don't have to be psychic or medium to feel that. You know when you're being watched. Yeah. Increase that from the following step. You'll also have irrational mood swings, depression, and anxiety. So try to stay on top of that because you don't want to let it take you over at this point. Then finally, attachment. It's everything that I've mentioned before, all of the above, plus at a higher degree, day and night. Oppression. That's when oppression starts. Then the final stage, obsession, then possession. These are the steps that we don't want to get to. Inherits all the other things above, being watched, mood swings, depression, anxiety, oppression. That's heightened at this point where you are completely taken over by it. Other symptoms of that could be really, really bad, negative, deadly dreams, nightmares, things that you just can't shake when you wake up. Or it might be that you are in a dream state while the spirit that's possessing you is living out your life in a really messed up way. So now that we've been through those stages, who is at risk? Which people are they most prone to latch onto? Paranormal investigators, for one, because you have to think about it. They're going into a haunted place, a place they know to be haunted. And if they're not doing any kind of protection prayer or ritual of some sort, they are very vulnerable to being attached. Whether it's a cemetery, a house, or whatever it is. More than likely, it'll be their own person that has an attachment instead of an object. And I'm talking about real professional, common sense thinking investigators here. Not the, oh, this is cool, let's take it home kind of thing. Yeah, no. Don't do that. Because a lot of these places, like mental hospitals and stuff like that, that are known to be haunted, have a lot of stuff left in them. They have records and instruments and stuff. You don't want to be taking any of that home. Can you imagine the stuff is attached to that? Blech. So, yeah, don't do that. People who practice occult rituals, any kind of where you're trying to connect with spirit, if you don't do protection prayer before that or some kind of protection, you bet your bottom dollar you can go home with something nasty. Doesn't always have to be a good spirit. It can be the lowest form of spirit or something that's never been human, and we all don't need that. People with lower natural energy or people with health issues in your energy field, you're more susceptible to being attached to because they thrive on that. They see that as like a beacon, I guess. And they're the moth and you're the flame, and it's bad news. And people with addictions also, because you got to consider what they're going through. They're in turmoil. They're trying to numb themselves from whatever has happened to them or what is currently happening to them. So yeah, they can become attached to and possessed also. Okay, so now we go into intelligent haunt, or traditional or classic haunt, whatever title makes you feel more comfortable. It's called that because these you can communicate with, you can actually have a conversation with them if they are able to, and what you're able to perceive of them, whether it's knocking, banging, lights going on and off, flashlights going on and off. It all depends on what the spirit is able to do. More than likely, if it's a positive or kind spirit, they just want your attention. They just want you to know that they're there. So give them a little shout out. Talk to them. Once you realize that it is a nice spirit and you can share your home with it, then there's no reason why you couldn't just talk to it. They may send you sign or speak to you. You might feel cold spots, goosebumps, hair standing up on the end of your neck, arms, feelings of being watched, which are kind of similar. When spirit is in a room with you, they need energy to manifest, whether it's to move something, say something, appear, knock, or anything. They have to muster up some energy. So they suck all the energy that's in the room And without the energy in the room, you got it, cold spots! Yay! So, yeah, you're going to feel cold in that room, and it's going to feel like a freezer really fast. You'll know, more than likely, that there's a spirit around. There are a few different types of spirit just within this one category alone. We have suicide spirits, people that have killed themselves and regret their decision and what they've done, are hanging around for whatever their reasons, afraid of being judged, I would imagine. Another one is summoned spirits. I don't know how many times I have to tell you, stay away from the Ouija board if you don't know how to use it. Summoning, which include Ouija boards, spirit boards, talking boards, scrying, which means looking into a mirror, crystal ball, water, EVPs. A lot of people don't understand that when you're trying to get an EVP, you're talking to spirit at that point. You're inviting it in, even though you're not opening up a door so symbolically like a Ouija board or scrying. You're opening up a communication through that veil for them to come through and talk to you. So stop that. If you don't want something haunting you that's probably not that great of a person or has never been a person. Desperate spirit. Desperate spirits are just trying to figure out what the hell happened to me. You know, they're trying to figure out, where's my family? Where's everything and everyone that I love? Where did they go? And why am I always dressed the same way? Why is my hair never right? So these are poor people that for some reason they're lost, they're confused, they're desperate to find their family and loved ones and just want to go wherever they need to be. A more difficult situation. Territorial spirits. I think that pretty much says a lot about what kind of spirit this is. But you know, also, I don't want to say that they all are mean or, you know, evil kind of spirits, because it could be a good spirit that just doesn't want you changing their house. So they're going to let you know by scaring off your workers, dumping your paint, peeling off the wallpaper, you know, crazy stuff like that. Yeah, they don't want anybody in their room. They don't want anybody in their house. They just don't want anybody in their space. They don't always have to be mean about it. They could be that they don't understand that they're dead and they see these things happening. So we're the ghosts in their world. They don't know they're dead. Who the heck are we, right? So we're in their house and we're changing it. We're moving things. They're probably wondering why they haven't called a paranormal investigating team. Be understanding. Try to be respectful. Figure out what kind of spirit it is through either a medium or investigating team, then you can go from there. Revenge haunts. Now, revenge haunts usually means it's somebody who's been murdered, has come back to get revenge. Yeah, that could be a sticky wicket, because that too doesn't necessarily mean it has to be mean or evil. It could be a good spirit, or that they could be looking for somebody that could possibly be alive in physical form still. You know, like serial killers killed all of these people and still around, you know, that could be, you know, that could work out. Justice haunts. Well, that is somebody who's been murdered, some other kind of situation, and then comes back to get justice. What kind of justice that is, it all depends on the situation and the spirit. So that too could be good or bad. Okay, next is poltergeist. Now, there has been a lot of movies made about poltergeists, because they are some crazy ass shit going on with them. There's no end to the kind of crap that these guys do. I mean, wow. Stack up your chairs, move your whole room over. I mean, it's endless. Oddly enough, the actual movie Poltergeist isn't about poltergeists at all. So, I don't. Anyway, moving on. They throw things. Don't be in the way. Could get hurt. Could kill you. You just don't know. They levitate objects and or people. Something levitating, chances are it's a poltergeist. It could be just a spirit bringing something into the room. Smells. Bad smells. Rotting flesh, rotten eggs, you know, anything that's icky and bleh, kind of smells, because those are going to get your attention quicker than anything. Manipulation of objects. This would be you find things in weird places, like your toothbrush will be in the oven. Those kind of things. Just weird ass crazy stuff. Okay, next, loud noises. Banging, and I mean banging, booms, knockings. Yeah, I just upset my dog. Thank you. Really loud bangs. Sounds like glass breaking, china cabinets falling over, bookcases falling over, slamming of doors. These guys love to slam doors. I don't know what it is with them. Slamming doors, opening and closing windows, just anything. It's kind of like a toy for them, I think. When I think of poltergeists, they say noisy ghosts. I like to think of it as playful ghosts, but yeah, playful is probably not the right word. Yeah, menacing play, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so things are flying around your house. Stage 5, dangerous. This is when things really amp up and it's completely out of control. We're talking not only things flying around, but probably your bed is levitating. You got furniture flipping over and stuff like that. So you really have to be on top of it and make sure that you and your family are safe. Now, the 5th one is the low energy haunts. And I've decided to give the D word a new name. I'm going to call them donuts, because donuts are evil too. So the lower energy haunts, because I don't like to give them any more energy than they already have with all the media and everything else that's going on. These are things that have never been human, and they are out to destroy anything good and or sacred. They start out like a normal haunt, a regular benign haunt. You may not think anything of it. That's why I say you have to kind of get an idea. You have to kind of let it go on for a bit, because it will change for a donut haunt. It will change, and when it does, you'll know instantly that there is something wrong. It will take a dark and sinister turn. So you want to be very careful with this one. So keep that in mind. See if that checklist is going off in your head. This could possibly be a donut haunt. You'll have really bad smells, just like with the poltergeist. And it may seem like a poltergeist because poltergeists have a lot of kinetic energy, same as a donut haunt. They seem to like to levitate things, move things, manipulate things, destroy things that you love. Photographs, statues, crucifixes. You might even find those items missing. Extreme temp changes, and I'm not talking only cold spot, but hot spots. Rushes of air, smelly air. They can appear as smoke or mist, black smoke or mist. They can change shape. They can come across as a child, as an animal, as a regular person. But be careful though. Sometimes these things will have black eyes. Sometimes they'll want you to do something, like a child. Say they want you to kill yourself. Well, a child would never ask you to do that. You know that that's a donut sitting there. So, yeah, don't listen to them. These have the power to possess and destroy a person. And that's probably the worst case scenario in this situation. It can sense what you're thinking and feeling. If you fear spiders or snakes, then by all means, it will bring spiders and snakes to your reality. Whether they're real or not really wouldn't matter to somebody who's truly afraid of spiders and snakes. They could be in a dream. They could be in your reality, but you're just hallucinating them. That way, everybody around you thinks you're crazy, and yeah, they want to put you away somewhere. That's part of being destroyed, right? It also, that's another thing it likes to do, is to separate the family. It likes to cause so much turmoil that you guys figure, oh, I give up. And so it divides you, it separates you and your relationships. And all I can say is don't let it. Fight it. Fight it with everything you have. Strong family bonds, strong relationships, whether you have a faith or not. Love. Love is the bind and bound of everything. If you believe strongly enough in love together and bring somebody in there to get rid of this thing, love is your best bet, especially if you don't have a faith. But if you do, you know your faith is there to protect you. Your angels are there to protect you. Your guides, your power animals. You have the whole higher spiritual hierarchy to protect you. So call on them. They're wanting to help you. Get experienced, professional help. Do not call Aunt Ida over here to come over. Get a priest or a shaman or somebody who's experienced in this stuff. You see in the news so often these days how people have been killed or died during an exorcism because they didn't know what they were doing. A lot of the times they have so little experience, or they're not actually able to do anything at all. They've seen a couple of TV shows about it or documentaries, and they've decided, oh, well, I can do that. Yeah. Would you want a doctor to do that? Operating on you? Yeah. Chances are no. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to list them down below in the comment section. And I will see you later. Have the greatest day possible. It's your choice. Much love, much light. Bye.